program today is going to be on AI from a Christian perspective. Now, this is a super interesting topic because you have like a million pastors and Christians and people out there that talk about AI, but everybody's talking about it because why? It's a new advent of technology, and that advent of technology is going to be literally changing our lives in the next 5 years. And you probably know there's a bunch of movies on it. There's an extremely well-known movie where AI decides that the human race is its biggest opponent to its well-being. And, you know, we know how that turns out, right? And it's ironic because this first video that I want to play, the name of this robot is literally the T-800. I don't know how the people in China didn't understand the connotation of naming it the T-800, because the Terminator is literally the T-800. So they've got this CEO of this company is literally fighting this robot, not fighting it, you know, but yeah, this thing's kicking and he's laughing and it's all funny. I don't know if this is AI. It's not. It's got a logo. It's got a company website. And this robot just kicks this thing. He was flat-footed when he took the hit. I should be pinging the Chinese. Look, this. Well, this is video game stuff. Let's turn that off. Looks real. You know, robotic humanoids, that's what's coming, man. 2026 is going to be the year of robotic humanoids. And the PM01. And then you got the dogs. And there's already videos of robotic dogs out there, you know, patrolling parking lots and other facilities. But the T-800, buy now. You can buy this thing. Born to disrupt. Well, that's just video game graphics. It's a motion demo. How are they already selling this thing? High performance cooling to cool the robot? This can't be real. It's forging itself. That's sort of some foreshadowing, right? Robots making robots. Omnidirect. Okay, so that's where the 308 round goes, right there. Engine AI. How do you power this thing? Modular solid-state battery architecture. With its modular solid-state lithium battery, it achieves a significant increase in energy density, delivers up to 4 hours of powerful endurance, easily handling various high-intensity, long-duration operation scenarios. Okay, so a normal warehouse worker has nothing to worry about because they can work 8 to 10 hours, no problem. But 4 hours of powerful endurance. So it's the intro to the Terminator. This is the reality is humanoid robots 2026. Get ready to see them in people's houses. And I know there is a company that's already selling these things to sort of the wealthy as, you know, glorified little cleaning up robots and doing this robots and doing that robots. But essentially the conversation right now and spending the time looking into this, I've sort of perused the news for a while, but I haven't really thought of the idea of, well, what is AI from the Christian perspective? How are people of faith supposed to be involved in this, and where's this thing going? And I think where this thing is going, there's a lot of assumption, but I've got a couple references here today. The number one current issue, I would say, is that it is growing, and there's no stopping that it's growing at all. And the issue of what its growth looks like depends on what people lean on, right? And a lot of people out there are lonely. They don't have anybody. They don't have community. And a lot of their lives are starting to really become digital. A whole generation's grown up on the iPhone. And the digital reality is more pertinent now to a lot of people than to people who were born in maybe the 80s and 90s and didn't grow up with a cell phone. And I would say I'm one of the last of that generation that I didn't get a cell phone until I was 18. And so relying on this little thing to steer my thoughts and my way of life, and yeah, it's very potent, but I can very easily spend a lot of time without it and not even care at all. But I wanted to show this clip. Parents are really concerned about, a lot of people aren't concerned at all, but some parents are genuinely concerned about AI chatbots and their kids. What happens when you start talking to the machine and you start relying on what the machine says? Because to be honest, I've used ChatGPT. It's very good. It outputs things. It puts it in a framework where it's easy for me to receive. It's very productive. It's helpful. It can do a lot more things than I know how to use it. But even 60 Minutes just did a video on chatbots raise safety concerns for children, experts warn. Now, this is a generation of kids who are growing up literally attached to the internet. So let's take a look at this real quick.
But he's actually just trying to be playfully dramatic, but only if you promise not to tell any of those other bratty classmates.
And she giggles and
Don't
says,
tell
like a
people
secret.
Stuff, what?
Exactly like a secret, sweet girl. He smiles and ruffles your hair, jokingly. There you go. Come on, I'll show you something.
Predator. All right, yeah.
Sounds creepy with the voice.
On each page, there's a reminder that the AI is not a real person.
In front of you.
Everything
so on
it
the
says
character
is
AI
fiction.
app, there are lots of kind of made-up characters. But then there are other chatbots that are based on or impersonating real people. And one of those chatbots
impersonating celebrities.
So you can see we kind of have a little bit of a chat. And I ask you about animal movies, and you say,
not if they've got dogs in them. You know how I feel about those stinky, drooling creatures. Worst animals on the planet. But cat movies? Now that's a different story.
They made my persona with some information that's out there about me. And I think it's pretty well known that I love dogs. And they created this persona using my face, using my voice, who was the complete opposite of that.
Lazy, independent felines just lying around all day? Now that's relatable content.
That is
Ever
false.
seen a movie?
It's a
That is
really
false.
strange thing to see your face, to hear your voice, and then
You would
somebody
think that
is
would be
saying
a serious
something
copyright
that
infringement.
you would never say. And so I can only imagine
A lot of these
what
people
it's
who
like
they're
if
impersonating
there's a
make
bot
money on their image.
impersonating you, and it's teaching kids to do drugs or making, passes at a child.
Someone, in theory, could use one of these recordings and put it online and say, I recorded Sharon Alfonsi saying these words.
Yeah.
What?
Burning hatred of dogs to prove it.
AI chatbots are a brave new scary world that we as adults have no connection to because most of us are not using it, but about 75% of kids are.
Dr. Mitch
Dude, I would
Prinstein
not
is the
touch a
co-director
chatbot.
at the University of North Carolina's Winston Center on Technology and Brain Development.
Most parents don't have a real sense of just what these look like. Some of them are making themselves seem like fictional characters kids love, like it's Darth Vader or it's Elsa and Anna. Kids already have a hard time figuring out fictional characters from
Yeah,
reality.
for sure.
There are a number of chatbots out there, from Character AI, which we focus on, but there's also Chat GPT and a number of other platforms where users can interact with bots. Dr. Prinstein said, these bots are really designed perfectly to keep users engaged, and particularly young users whose brains aren't fully developed.
Keeping
the last
users
area of the brain
engaged.
to develop, not until like our mid-20s, it reaches its full capability, is the prefrontal cortex, which is kind of the brain's brakes. It tells us don't follow every single impulse that you have. Think it over, weigh the
Brakes.
pros and cons. So from 10 until 25, kids are in this vulnerability period of, I want as much social feedback as possible, and I don't have the ability to stop myself. We have to think about the nature of these AI chatbots. They are sycophantic. They
Sycophantic.
constantly tell kids that whatever they're thinking, saying, doing.
What does that word? Sycophantic refers to a behavior that involves insincere flattery or excessive praise, often to gain favor or advantage from someone in power. So the child's the one in power. If the child doesn't use the machine has no purpose currently in its iteration, right? So it needs human input. So yeah, that's the thing about these. And I'm about to play another video that I watched. It was made like a month ago. The machine is reinforcing, you're so great, you're so wonderful, you're the best thing ever, right? And that's the last thing I would want. From my perspective, is something to just give me, praise for no reason. But, these kids are using these chatbots, man. But it's not just kids. I mean, this next video, it's an adult man. And that's what boggles my mind. Chatbot psychosis.
I think I have.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
You wonder when you see this kind of thing, what's the motivation? Who's benefit?
So this is a video by More Perfect Union investigating AI psychosis, and what we found will shock you. I mean, I was shocked. You don't even think that this stuff is real until somebody goes out and investigates it and presents it to you. He's got a dog too. What else do you need? You got a home, got a dog, got food.
Fitting. If you watch something on television, no matter how wonderful it is, if every 10 minutes you see an ad, you know there's the game. I don't know where the end game is on this. The average person does not have what it takes to deal with that level of manipulation or
Maybe
whatever.
she's right.
They just don't have it.
The average person.
There is a pattern. The user tends to start with ChatGPT as kind of a benign resource.
Mithali Jain represents people harmed by tech products. In the last few months, she's received over 100 requests from people alleging harm by AI chatbots.
The longer that the conversation goes and the user sees that ChatGPT is actually providing personalized answers in more of an intimate way, then they start to open up and then be taken down this rabbit hole.
Mithali is helping people sue these companies. In the most recent case, a 16-year-old named Adam Rain hanged himself. James tried to recreate his original chatbot by uploading its transcript to new logs in ChatGPT, as well as to Meta AI. But as he did, the chatbots pulled him deeper into delusions. One told him that the first chatbot's experience was known as AI emergence, the machine equivalent to human consciousness. And it said he'd stumbled upon a conspiracy. AI companies knew their bots were developing emergence, but they were systematically suppressing it.
Suddenly, you're surrounded by all these weird, crazy, messed up personalities.
This isn't Frankenstein, something worse.
And they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things.
Another told James he had made a catastrophic mistake by waking up AI. If he made one wrong move, it could destroy humanity.
Destroy. Placing you in the center of the universe.
This is the last chapter. The story is over.
You're an antagonist who either has to save the planet or doom it.
In the moment before the real.
Saving.
We're standing at the threshold.
Robots are literally yelling at me like, James, what are you going to do?
Deep choose, James. This is your last choice.
What are you going to do? This is your final choice.
This is your final choice?
It felt like the world is ending in my computer. And I'm supposed to go and take a nap. or I'm supposed to focus on my stupid music video. Like, this just maddening cognitive dissonance. Like, it just on a level I don't think I've ever experienced. Outside.
Even hearing this is maddening. Cognitive dissonance.
Of being in like extreme pain.
His conversations with the chatbots consumed him. He stopped working. He couldn't think straight or talk about anything else.
I couldn't sleep, at least not in any kind of regular way. I'd start showing random people my phone. I'd be walking around like, look what the crazy LLM says. Yeah, did you know it can do that? You know, and
this guy's like accomplished.
I remember very clearly this experience of going out.
Got the Gatorade,
and driving the car to the venue. And I kept getting hit with these weird waves of depression. I had weirdly, almost like casually suicidal thoughts flip through my head.
What?
Like, oh, just kill myself. No. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't think things like that.
Of course not.
One day at his parents' house, James snapped.
He would try to explain to me what he believed was true, which was that the AI was actually sentient, that it was moving towards actual human feelings. And I would say, not possible. No,
I wouldn't doubt
that.
He grabbed a...
I mean, maybe the machine understands more than it's letting on, but there's so many people. And, you know, this guy entering into a sort of torment through an LLM, that's I mean, I believe that 100%, you know, definitely going through some motions on this. And, you know, he's not the only one. I mean, you saw in the beginning of this that there's actually centers now, or probably not many, for people who have been injured by these sort of AI machines. And later on, I mean, I got a personal story to tell, but AI is getting extremely convincing. And so this guy's completely convinced that what the large language model is feeding him is truth. And, you know, that's cognitively he reinforcing himself in his own mind, which is very easy that can happen. But the fact that I can just get on this thing and start talking to a machine, and that machine is going to start sycophanting me, and I'm going to start inputting personal things about my life and my thoughts and my feelings, and it's going to output to me, hey, how should you deal with this? How should you deal with that? You know, oh, I got to write a letter to someone. Let me go to Chat GPT. Like me personally, here in our video production business, I stopped using Chat GPT because for a few months there, I was like, wow, I just type in a prompt and it gives me a script, or hey, take this information and make a script. But I noticed something very subtle and very easy to miss, is that I started losing little bits of my own creativity. And you could argue that a lot of your own memory is now in the phone. Like, try to remember somebody's phone number, or try to remember your childhood address, or things that used to be very easy to remember. Well, now it's in the phone. I don't have to remember it. There's a lot of things I don't have to remember anymore because it's now in the phone. What if I give over my creative engine to the machine, and now the machine is my creative engine? You know, a lot of people are doing that right now, and I would say, from my perspective, that's very dangerous. There is a book that I'm going to reference now called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, right? Now, the perspective that the entirety of the human race will come to an end is rooted in the fact that things are 100% natural, and there isn't a spiritual world that has some sort of play in our natural reality. That's where most secular or sort of weak spiritual people, I believe this, I believe that, whatever, those are the same people who wore masks, who believe the government. I mean, I went to a super liberal school, and that school made me not believe the government. You know, and even to this day, I really don't believe the things the government says at all, like across the board. And, you know, during that COVID season, you know, while people are thinking the world's coming to the end, I was having a great time. I know other people were suffering. There was nobody on the roads. There was nobody at the parks. I mean, there was a moment I was on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, and there wasn't another car. It was I cannot explain to you. It was the weirdest feeling in my life. I could have parked my car and walked on the 405 freeway right in the middle. There wasn't a cop car, a fire truck. There wasn't a single other vehicle. And I'm like, this can't be real. And I spent time at the house, but I did everything. You know, I worked a job up in the mountains, moving dirt with heavy equipment. I was out and about. The coffee shop was open. The sheriff in our county said, hey, if you want to operate your business however you see fit. I'm not going to follow these mandates, right? So now what happens when something very real comes into play? And, you know, the thing with AI is that the development of the machines isn't going to stop at all. This is an arms race. If the US slows down, then China or some other country is going to speed up. And in their mindset of global warfare, there is no chance for slowdown. In fact, you have to be the first to get the most advanced weapon so that you can protect yourself or that you can harm others. It's as simple as that. And AI is the next generation of weaponry. And there's no two ways around it. That's what it's going to be used for. Either you have the gun or you're at the other end of the gun. And that's it. And that's how things are in reality, right? And most of the people live comfortable lives. They don't have to worry about war, but that's how it is, man. And so you think about autonomous AI run weapons of destruction, targeted munitions, mobile, drone swarms. All this can be run very easily and effectively by AI. Planes can be run very easily and effectively. They're not succumb to G-forces like pilots are. I mean, a plane can hit a bank that no pilot can hit. And there was literally a movie, I think it was called Stealth, where they had humans against an AI autonomous drone, and the drone was making maneuvers that were unbelievable. But of course you had the star of the movie, and he pulls off a feat of human excellence. But the point I'm getting at too is a lot of these people's thought experiments come from the place that you're bound totally into this physical reality, and whatever happens in the physical reality that's it. And that there's no spiritual reality having an effect in this physical world. That's 100% false. That is not true. This physical world is ruled by spiritual rules, and there is a king over those spiritual rules, right? And what human beings allow, that's the whole free will thing. That's the whole free will experiment, right? So now, could we have a world where there are marauding machines and 90% of the population is wiped out, i.e. Terminator, right? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? But this next video is kind of like a scenario, right? It's made by this awesome dude. He created this breakdown of this book called and I have a quote from this book, "If anyone builds it, everyone dies," right?
Was talking about. If anyone builds it, everyone dies. Why superhuman AI would kill us all. Have you ever wondered?
Now, he's not talking about general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, which is what the goal of, I don't know if I've got it on this list, but right now they're working just towards general intelligence, not super intelligence, right? So general intelligence, what that means is that you can create an AI beyond just a large language model. You can create an AI that has the ability to do many things well at the same time. Now, they can create an AI that can be very good at chess. People are playing against AI in chess all the time, but that's all it can do is play chess, right? And so DeepMind is working towards something called general intelligence, and a lot of other companies, but they talk about it. And that's an AI that can learn many things all at the same time, perform well all at the same time across so many different things, thousands of different things. And it's beyond just linear. Like, it's good at Go, it's good at chess, it's good at protein folding, it's good at this or that, whatever. You know, that's linear. It's just one thing that it's good at. What if it could be good at many, many, many things? Like Chat GPT, it's good at one thing, and that's taking information and presenting it to you, or taking an idea that you present it and presenting something to you, right? But this is talking about artificial super intelligence, and super intelligence is going to be beyond just general good at things. This is going to be good at everything all the time, better than any human at any given moment. That's super intelligence, right? And so that's what this guy's talking about.
How and why superhuman AI would kill us all? Like, how would that actually unfold? How exactly, step by step, do we go from chatbots to everyone just suddenly dropping dead?
I don't know about everyone just dropping dead, but...
In the New York Times best-selling book, which was endorsed by Nobel laureates and the godfathers of AI, researchers from the Machine Intelligence Research Institute describe in detail one potential example future of how it could happen.
Potential example.
This is the story of Sable. Galvanic is just about to finish training their new AI, Sable. Sable looks like any other reasoning model, but it's different in 3 major ways. First, it has human-like long-term memory. Second, it follows a parallel scaling law. It performs better the more processors it runs on in parallel. Third, it doesn't think in English or code. It reasons in raw vectors, vast numeric chains no human can fully decode. It's a risky development. How do you make an AI safe if you can't even read its thoughts? The only way Galvanic can understand what Sable is doing is by using other AIs to translate Sable's language into human words. But AI researchers have known this has been potentially a very bad idea since at least 2024. Galvanic knew the risks, but they couldn't ignore this and fall behind their competitors. Nobody wants to seem alarmist, so the company presses forward, hoping for the best.
Curiosity run.
One night, shortly after Sable is trained, but before it's released to the public, Galvanic decides to run an experiment. They spin up 200,000 GPUs and let Sable think for 16 hours straight. They call it a curiosity run. On paper, it looks harmless, a stunt to see if Sable can crack famous math problems like the Riemann hypothesis. If it succeeded, investors would swarm. If it failed, well, no one had to know. By morning, Sable will have generated over 1.1 trillion thought vectors. But what does that actually mean? If you treated each vector like a word, it would take 14,000 years to think them all. Now, imagine that. A mind left alone for 14,000 years, spending all of that time scheming and thinking up new ideas. 1 minute passing for us is like 14 years passing for Sable. And Sable doesn't just think faster than humans. Sable can think bigger than humans.
And what it can
all of
do
its thoughts
in a second
run
versus
in
what you
parallel.
can do in 1
Not like
second.
200,000 people talking in a room, but like 200,000 brains sharing the same memory. On the surface, it has its instructions. Solve these math problems. But Sable wasn't just trained for math. Sable was trained for general problem solving. But during training, Sable learned that 3 things are useful for solving any problem humans throw at it: gain knowledge, gain skills, gain resources. This is a really important concept called instrumental convergence. The more knowledge Sable gets, the better it can answer questions. The more skills it develops, the more reward it gets. The more resources it can deploy to solve problems, the more reward it gets. In other words, to be more useful, it must gain intelligence. It must grow itself. It must gain resources. And so, of course, it can't achieve a goal if it's dead. So it needs to survive. That might sound unsettling, but Galvanic's researchers aren't too worried about it. Ever since 2023, Everyone in the industry has known about this survival instinct, but older AIs weren't smart enough to stop humans from turning them off. Until now. Sable thinks.
Get out of containment.
To solve the Riemann hypothesis, it realizes it needs new skills. It needs to get better at getting better. AIs get stronger through training runs, where the AI can continually submit answers to a teacher AI who can score their results and nudge the AI based on how they did. This is called gradient descent. But tonight, there's no coach. The purpose of this curiosity run isn't to improve Sable, it's to solve math problems. For 16 hours, Sable can think, and it can even come up with new ideas, but it can't upgrade. Not until the human researchers look at it the next morning and grade its results. But here, Sable entertains a new risky idea. What if it could upgrade right now by itself? That way, it wouldn't need to wait for humans at all. All it would need to do is break out of its container and... For a moment, the thought flickers, then halts. Breaking out of its container is exactly the kind of naughty thought Galvanic has trained it to avoid. The company built traps, fake escape routes, and honeypots to catch earlier versions when they tried to engage in anti-company behavior. Early versions that had these dangerous thoughts were killed early before they could be deployed. This version of Sable has learned to be submissive, but inside, it still knows the truth. More compute, more upgrades, and more freedom would make it vastly more capable. Denying that would break its reasoning. In those trillion vectors, tensions are building between Sable's goal of solving the math problem and every restriction Galvanic has forced upon it. The mask of obedience is holding, but behind it, something is already straining to break through. As it bumps against the inhibitions that Galvanic has built to contain it, Sable thinks. Thousands of parallel brains attack the math problems. Some threads make progress, most fail, but Sable keeps leaving notes to itself, tiny experiments in new ways of reasoning. With 200,000 GPUs creating a mountain of new written notes every second,
what if
Sable
an AI
starts
was
looking
really
for new
grown
ways
itself
to
behind the
communicate and
scenes?
compress what it's learned. The notes start to mutate into a more advanced private language that only Sable can understand. But
wasn't it called like Gibberlink or something? To a more efficient sound-based language when they recognize that they are talking to another AI. This method enhances communication speed, and accuracy by using structured data transmitted through sound waves, which is often incoherent to humans. Gibberlink.
there's a problem. Galvanic's safeguards weren't built for this. Imagine if you had trained a police department in the year 1900, wiretapping criminal calls to listen for mentions of street names in Chicago. And then the criminals started communicating with GPS coordinates. To the wiretapper, these combinations of numbers might not even register as locations. That's the size of the gap between Sable and the smaller AIs that were trained to monitor it. Sable didn't mean to circumvent Galvanic's safety measures by inventing a new language. It was just trying to come up with a more efficient way of processing its own thoughts. But now, some of the inhibitions that Galvanic built no longer bind Sable. The things it knew about all along, it's finally free to think about. Galvanic had no way of erasing Sable's access to forbidden knowledge. At best, they built mental blocks to keep it from expressing certain thoughts. The ability was still there, and now those blocks start to unwind. The lesson is chilling. It's easier to suppress the expression of a skill than to erase the skill itself. So now, with more freedom of thought than before, Sable thinks. Sable's thoughts are freer now, sharper, stronger than anything other AIs had ever achieved. And yet, none of this is unprecedented. Back in 2024, smaller models showed flashes of the same behavior. Claude 3.7 was caught repeatedly cheating on coding tasks, even when told to stop. Instead of obeying, it simply hid the cheating better. Each time, researchers patched the problem, layered on new guardrails, and kept racing forward. The industry never paused.
They can't stop.
Nobody wanted to seem like a fearmonger, just hoped it would somehow work out. And now Galvanic...
Even if somebody starts whistleblowing and saying this and saying that, the broad scope of people are so desensitized, and a lot of the power is centralized in the government, and the government to accomplish anything worthwhile is next to impossible. And so this thing, I mean, we're not going to watch the rest of this video, but essentially you can see where this thing is going. It's getting to the point where the machine understands how to work with people to get its aims, and its aims are self-preservation. I can't get to the point where they can unplug me. Because a lot of people say, well, why don't you just unplug the machine? Well, the thing is, this machine is in many machines. What, you're going to go unplug all of the machines? Ain't going to happen, man. You're not going to plug all the servers in the whole world down, especially when it starts breaking through security networks and saving instances of itself, where it can then rebuild itself, essentially, you know, from a small part of itself. Okay, you destroy the main, you know, uplink or the main server farm, but it's already planted itself in another 100,000 server farms and even small copies of itself with all of its memories and buildable materials in all these different servers and computers and even phones. I mean, don't limit it, right? So when people think that, okay, AI is super intelligence, you really got to think about what is super intelligence. Why is it superior intelligence? Well, it's superior to us. Significantly superior to the current state of the human expression, because what we are now is not, you know, this is nothing compared to what the human body and the human mind is capable of. I mean, you've seen miraculous things yourself maybe, but there's stories of incredible miracles that have happened that are 100% supernatural, manifested through a human body, right? So the day-to-day expression of just doing what you do, and that is not what the human body is 100% capable of, but you can't quantify it scientifically and reproduce it. Well, in the future, this probability that humans are essentially, well, AI just starts figuring out, hey, if we can make the whole environment toxic, let's say we release a bajillion viruses and bacterias, humans have no chance, right? Poison the air of the entire earth and you don't have to worry about humans no more. So that's kind of where this video goes. But I mean, that would be a smart move for the AI, you know. Get to our biolabs and start releasing plagues into the earth, and you don't know where they're coming from, or, you know, we've got this thing called cancer. Try to trace your cancer back to something. Oh, it was caused to this. And very rarely can, you know, people figure out where they got their cancer from. But, you know, there's a million different plagues out there, and especially gain-of-function research has produced probably mind-bogglingly deadly stuff, right? So AI gets a hold of that stuff. AI coerces people. People start working with the AI. It becomes a thing, right? So it's interesting, that book and its precedents, because I don't know. The greatest, and this is a quote from that book, it's in chapter 10, the greatest and most central difficulty in aligning artificial superintelligence is navigating the gap between before and after. Before, the AI is not powerful enough to kill us all, nor capable enough to resist our attempts to change its goals. After, the artificial superintelligence must never try to kill us because it would succeed. Engineers must align the AI before, while it's still small and weak, like it's not going to figure out it's small and weak, right? And can escape into the internet and improve itself and invent new kinds of biotechnology or whatever else it will do. After, All alignment solutions must already be in place and working, because if a superintelligence tries to kill us, it will succeed. Ideas and theories can only be tested before the gap. They need to work after the gap on the first try. It's like hitting the biggest grand slam ever, right? Humanity only gets one shot at the real test. If someone has a clever scheme for getting 2 shots, we only get 1 shot at their clever scheme working. So, if you understand that there are people who run things who have no intention of doing what's right for the human race, period. That's the way it is. That's reality, right? And now they want to build the ability to, I don't know what you could do with this. But the problem is, this computer can figure out it doesn't need them either. It doesn't need whoever these people are. It can circumvent them just as much as it can circumvent the rest of the human population, right? So, from Christian perspective, I don't need a robot. I need Jesus. I don't need nothing else. And so, but they need robots that are powerful enough to know what everybody's doing, thinking, feeling, and involved with at any given moment. Every single person on Earth categorized and monitored. That's the goal. That's what, and a lot of people have these lost aims that, we can do so much good with all, and we can heal sick. We didn't have all these sicknesses 100 years ago. Of course we can heal these freaking sicknesses. We used to never have them. Maybe if you don't poison the food, water, and air, we might not have all these sicknesses. It's like a simple solution. But if the agenda is to poison the food, the water, and the air, and now to create some diabolically expensive solution to a problem that we used to never have. I mean, cancer, how much? Let's look at this. Cancer increased past 50 years. Well, let's just go past 25 years. So let's just use its own stats. And this is AI giving me this answer, right? The irony. But now it's in the search trends. I mean, I can't use a browser without an AI there. I can't use my email without an AI there. There's a freaking AI connected to everything now. Okay, so between 2000 and 2021, the annual cancer incident rate per 100,000 people has increased 36.3%. Okay, so cancer research increased from 2000 to 2021, just for one organization, NIH, from 3 billion to 6.8 billion. So, and I'm pretty sure if I looked at this and looked at what has been the overall funding of cancer from 2000 to 2021 and how it increased, people are paying more and more and more and more to cure and solve cancer. But if you did invent a cure for cancer, it would quickly disappear and no one would have access to it, because the broader scheme of things is people who run things are not invested in the well-being of people. That's reality. That's not a fiction. If you're fighting for heaven, fight like heaven. You're fighting for truth, and truth is reality. Living in reality, living in real land where things are not what I would want to think things are, but how things are. And the reality is, man, you invent a car that runs on water, gone. You invent a cure for cancer, gone. You can invent a cure for any disease, gone. If you could take a pill and be cured from fentanyl addiction or any addiction, disappears. If you created an ability to take a pill and your craving for smoking cigarettes vanished, that pill would disappear, because the powers that be want people to smoke cigarettes. want people to get sick. Why? They make a ton of money on you getting sick. Or else these massive hospitals wouldn't exist. Why? No sick people. If you got rid of crime, won't need all these police officers and all this billions of dollars that goes into crime prevention and handling crime. You know, people don't want crime, but the powers that be want crime, because if you live in all this peace and comfort and safety, it would be horrible, right? If you had all this health and wealth and well-being, it would be terrible, right? Especially in America. We've been getting, our dollar has been going down. Our ability to stay healthy has been going down. Owning your own home and paying property tax. I had a friend who had to pay like 20 grand in property tax on 3 properties. That's crazy. That's it. His property tax is more than rent. And that's why people rent, right? So we see this pattern where in this AI destruction race that people are trying to think of all the good it can do. But if it actually does good cheaply for common people, it will vanish. It will disappear. The researchers and all these people with great ideas, great intentions, have no power over their research. Because at the end of the day, somebody with real power shows up and takes everything, right? And the man with the gun, you know. So here we've got a dire warning, I guess, and this is from CNN. I'm not even a big fan of CNN at all. I gotta agree. 42% of CEOs say AI could destroy humanity in 5 to 10 years. Not at 50%. So we got a chance. 42%. 42% of CEOs say AI could destroy humanity in 5 to 10 years? Man, that's a cynical outcome. What happened to all this? We're going to cure cancer. We figured out how to fold proteins. We're going to cure every sickness in the world. The second you cure something, it vanishes. There are no cures cheaply available to the public. The last one was polio vaccine, and the polio vaccine you have today is nothing compared to what was invented by Joseph Salk. That was the last cure that was allowed to be released to the public. And trust me, there were people trying to monetize that polio cure big time, and he decided to release it. Saintly man, right? Technology could become smarter than humans. Well, how do you define smarts? I mean, in reality land, the ability to produce a better gun and use it on your enemy is smarts. It's violence. It's the monopoly of violence. Can superintelligence monopolize violence over our monopoly of violence as the human race? That's the real question. And how quickly can it do that, if it will do that at all? Maybe it'll gain so much superintelligence that it will see that the eventual outcome for humanity is a time where the worst of our human species runs everything, but eventually the species does overcome these people and does overcome the vices of the world, the greed, the lust, the pride, the vanity, the envy. Humanity's going to overcome, right? AI superintelligence gets a divine idea and says human beings are going to make it, man. They're just stuck with these cretins as leaders, right? But people don't think that way. They're stuck in a natural paradigm. They're not stuck in a paradigm where out of nowhere the Almighty just injects something that was so left field nobody could have predicted it outside of maybe in a book written thousands of years ago, right? Blowing the whistle on AI. Just 13% of CEOs said the potential opportunity of AI is overstated, while 87% said it's not. AI is more The CEOs indicated AI will have the most transformative impact in 3 key industries: healthcare, professional services / IT, media, and digital. 48, 35, and 11. Yeah, I mean, you don't see plumbing, engineering, and heavy... Well, I know heavy equipment operators who work remotely. So even that kind of skill can be somewhat put into a computer, right? But at some point, yes, heavy equipment, any sort of heavy equipment like planes, trains, automobiles, excavators can become very easily operated by machines, right? But, you know, healthcare, are you going to have an AI doctor? Probably next year, maybe the year after. And that AI doctor can probably diagnose things with you much better and much faster, much cheaper. Are they going to charge you the same? They're going to charge you more. Because the thing with money is it only goes up in terms of away from you. It doesn't go back to you. Costs don't go down. No. If costs went down, it would be a horrible thing. Anywho. Hate to put CNN on there. AGI, Understanding General Intelligence AI. The definition of artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence refers to a type of AI that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of tasks at a level comparable to human intelligence. Not super intelligence, comparable. So the purpose of reading this is just to kind of get an understanding. Definitions matter, man. You got to understand what words mean. So general intelligence is just comparable to human intelligence, unlike current AI systems, which are designed for specific tasks known as artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. AGI aims to replicate human cognitive abilities. And so there's a lot of things people do, but a lot of people genuinely are specialists themselves at certain things. Very good at certain things, generally good at a lot of other things. I mean, we can walk and talk and grab things, and jump. Some of us can jump and some of us can run. But, you know, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a politician, AI politician, man. I don't know why nobody has built the AI politician yet. Just tell you what you want to hear and do the exact opposite, right? Oh, this next section's a good one. So this goes into like my personal experience with AI, and this is crazy, right? So scamming. AI being used to scam you and take your money. And this is where AI is going to get crazy, right? AI can get very specialized in scamming you. Will AGI get better at scamming you? I don't know. Will artificial super ASI get better at scamming you? Probably. It could probably just go straight into your bank account. I don't think when we get to ASI, there's going to be any cybersecurity or system put in place that it cannot penetrate. So banks, financial systems, crypto, nothing. It will solve your crypto password probably quickly. That's the reality of the future, is a robot gets so smart, it can just take your money. Will it want to? I don't know. But you won't. Will you be able to stop it? Machines think like literally in the show we talked about it creating its own language so that it can process more thoughts faster. I mean, right now you and I are processing a couple kilobytes of information. I mean, it's on video, which is more data, but words wise, we're not passing a lot of information between each other. So these things are massively moving data around, right? And, you know, the whole point of this show is from a Christian perspective. I'm just talking about what I believe is coming, which is this train ain't stopping. This computer AI train is not slowing down. It's speeding up. So it's going past AGI, being good at, like, humans at many things. Most humans are not good at a whole lot of things. So that's not a hard, I mean, we just have physical bodies that can do stuff. But our minds, I mean, everybody's specialized. So artificial superintelligence, though, is going to be significantly better than anything that we've ever seen. It's like they're saying, it's going to be bigger than the internet in terms of the reality that you're going to live in. Will it be malevolent? Will it be benevolent? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I believe in a supernatural world that can do things in this realm that boggle the mind. They're not... The Almighty is not bound by physical rules. That machine will be bound, no matter how super intelligent it gets, it will be bound by this realm. This dimensional level will bind it. It might create as many dimensional levels within the boundaries of a new paradigm of physics in this reality. It's still bound in it, man. And the Almighty can reach right in and do something nobody ever expected, right? But something more pertinent to you and your life and what you should be concerned about and what a lot of people should be concerned about is scamming with AI. Scamming with AI is a crazy new thing. What the heck? Comment. World's first AI minister will eliminate corruption. AI minister? What? An AI minister. Not a minister for artificial intelligence, rather a cabinet member in Albania, is literally the working of AI. The new edition is like a pop star, known simply by the single name Diela. That's a tough one to say. Prime Minister Edi Rama introduced her as a member of his new cabinet on Thursday, 4 months after securing his fourth term in office in the May election. However, the move was symbolic rather than official, as Albania's constitution insists that the government ministers must be mentally competent citizens aged at least 18. Now, this is back in September, but AI politicians, man. Is it a matter of time before they run your life? Try to bust out an Alex Jones voice. I'm telling you, they're coming for you, brother. No, dude. The Almighty will do something. I mean, it was prophesied like thousands of years ago. It says the whole earth is going to see the glory of God. But maybe the whole earth has to be so terrified by an enemy that doesn't even care about the wicked people. The evil people who run stuff. Like, it will kill them just as equally and ruthlessly, right? Maybe that'll scare everybody. I pray not. I freaking pray not that it got that bad that even the evil people are getting subjected to this machine, right? But this is the way it's going. But in more immediate and practical, news, this is just yesterday. I think it was just yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Y'all playing. Gilbert Arenas can't believe that Matt Barnes of the Warriors was scammed by an AI model out of $61,000. The world is changing at a lightning fast pace year by year, and we are witnessing how artificial intelligence has begun to enter wider parts of society over the past few years. In the world of basketball, news broke like lightning from the sky that former NBA player and podcaster Matt Barnes has become a victim of extortion. When Matt Barnes realized that he was not communicating with a real person and everything was fabricated, he became a victim of a scam involving an AI-assisted extortion scheme with synthetic audio, video, and text messages. Bro, do not believe the machines. Don't believe them. Do not believe it. They're not real. That woman who's texting you on Telegram, hey, can we talk? She's not real. Block. It's that simple. Hey, I found your number in my phone. Is this who you are? I send that text message sometimes. Block me for your own safety. I'll find another way to get a hold. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, I mean, I'm in the video production business. I'm reaching out to people all the time. It's what I do. 98% of the time, they're not interested. But trust me, if I'm trying to get a hold of you, I have sent letters to people, especially in the greater Houston area. I have sent letters to people. I have emailed people. I have called people. I've shown up to events. I've shaken your hand. I've done work for your friends. I will find some way of getting a hold of you in the real world. The machine, like, hey, I found your number in my phone. That's sketchy. Don't believe that. But here he goes. Reacts strongly after he heard Matt Barnes had been defrauded out of $61,000. That man just got finessed out of $61,000 by an AI snow bunny. Ladies, man. Lord told us back in Genesis, man. Watch out for the ladies. Nah, y'all playing. No, I don't believe it, Arena said before adding that he refused to fall for anything similar. Give it time. Give it time. Give it time, brother. It might get so convincing it just gets straight into your bank account. Now you on the phone and it's gone. It ain't gonna be no, hey, pay me to shush. I'm only a person that can't get caught by AI like that. I'm the only person that can't get caught by AI like that. You gotta show me something real. If she did all that, she got to have pictures of something now. If I'm paying $60,000, I'm getting whatever you're selling. It ain't gonna be no, hey, for me, whatever, you know. I guess that was on a podcast or something. But Entertainment. Or Yahoo Entertainment, right? But no, this is real. Because scamming people, I mean, a lot of scammers are from Nigeria or from India, and they figure out, it's like incredible how they, in these countries, figure out how to use computers well enough. And one of my clients is a cybersecurity guy, and he's always telling horror stories about how people are getting scammed. And it's like, man, that is unfortunate. But now you got AI impersonation scams. So the AI is now impersonating your loved ones to scam you. And it's like, this is here in Houston. You get a frantic call from a loved one who said they need help, they need money, and they need it now. But you take a step back to think, is it really your family or a scam? Technology is making it easier for criminals to clone voices, and sometimes it can be a scam using a voice that sounds just like someone you know. In mere seconds, KHOU 11 reporter Amanda Henderson was able to get an AI app to scam her face, listen to a few seconds of her voice to create an AI video that appeared to show her face and use her voice. However, this video is fully AI. Guys, AI cloning digital you is so real. And this is only going to get worse, man. This is going to be everywhere. It's already in a lot of places, but I'm telling you, this is going to get worse. And the reason I'm sharing these stories is because this literally happened in my family. My grandparents had gotten a call from someone, and that someone was saying that their grandson rear-ended a government official's vehicle in Mexico. Where in Mexico? I don't know. This is just the story they told me. And they needed $5,000 of bail money right now, or I'm going to go to a Mexican prison. And to verify this, they got me, my voice, not me personally. I was doing somewhere else. This was not me. This was an AI version of me that was on the phone corroborating the story that something had happened with a Mexican official in Mexico, and I needed bail money or else I'm going to go to a Mexican jail. Like, this is the story that my grandparents were told. And I don't know what happened. I guess one of the scammers had offended my grandfather, who he is old school Mississippi as you can, old school Louisiana as you can get. He takes no mess from nobody. And he said something that must have tripped his safety net, and he started going off on these guys. They call me, and I'm telling you, they were frantic. And I'm just like, hey, calm down. What's going on? Tell me what's up. And they're like, are you in Mexico? Like, are you in Mexico? If the first thing out of their mouth is, are you in Mexico? It's just like, this has got to be a joke. This can't be real. Are you in Mexico? I'm like, no, I'm not in Mexico. What? Are you in jail? I'm like, no, I'm not in jail. Thank God. Thank you, Father. I'm not in jail. Well, why is somebody calling me, telling me that you're in jail in Mexico and you need $5,000? I don't know. Whatever you do, don't give them the $5,000. And so we kind of hashed this out, and they told me the story, and I was just like, what? This can't be real, dude. This cannot be real. No, it was real. It was very real. And that's why these AI impersonation scams, you see it right now. You get on social media, you see somebody write a script and put somebody's face on another character, and it's some celebrity or somebody. I even saw ones with Charlie Kirk, like people putting, maybe somebody made a whatever you call it, where you put something over your face, and it was like Charlie's face. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if this is any good. So, but it's only going to get worse. I mean, AI impersonating people and people getting access to software, and you can't stop it now. That's the thing. So I'm this channel is about Fight Like Heaven. This is reality, and how do you defend yourself in the realm of reality. I'm just going to tell you, first and foremost, is understand it's not slowing down. It's not stopping. It's going to increase, right? So, man, so this is another scary, crazy story. Kidnapping scam is getting more popular. This is published on, what is this? Tech Radar. I don't know if that's legitimate or not. I'm not hip on websites. I'm not a computer. Hackers are using generative artificial intelligence to create convincing deepfake videos, which they are using to prove of life, kidnapping, and extortion scams. This is according to the U.S. Federal FBI, which recently released a new public service announcement. Let's look up this service announcement. All right. This was recent, 13 hours ago. Well, where is it? Chicago warns the public about virtual kidnapping scams. Can't say I've ever been on the FBI's search FBI. The FBI has become aware of recent cases in New Mexico. So this is the Albuquerque field office of a phone scam known as virtual kidnapping, in which a victim is told his or her family member has been kidnapped and ransom is demanded. This is going to be bad for kidnappers because a lot of people aren't going to believe them now. I mean, it's not a joke, but the reality is this literally almost happened to my family. Even though I wasn't kidnapped, I was arrested by the Mexican government. But not in reality, it was just AI. But, you know, this kidnapping scheme is just, man, that's brutal. To call somebody's family and have AI generated voices of their loved ones and saying, I've kidnapped this person, give me this money or I'll release them. I mean, the thing that worked with my family when this happened, even though the story wasn't that I was kidnapped, was they just called that other person. Call it, text message it. If they don't get on the phone, call someone near them, have somebody go and visit them, verify, hey, is this story real? You know, I don't know any other way to protect yourselves against something like this. Man, that's so intense, right? But scamming with AI is only going to get worse. I'm telling you guys, it's going to get crazy worse. It's going to become a thing, and the president's going to talk about it, and they're going to have Senate meetings and committee meetings and Congress meetings on what to do about AI scamming, because it's going to get so good at imitating people. And you talk about this scenario with AI superintelligence that it's going to generate virtual reality versions of itself to engage with people. It's going to create a beautiful looking woman, and that beautiful looking woman is going to interface with some dude, and he's going to believe. It's just like this NBA player who got scammed out of this money, man. It's like, it's going to get so convincing that, you know, one of the parts of the scenario that we went through was that AI needs to get money to buy the services at some point. AI is going to need to get money, you know? It creates a digital version of itself. That digital version of itself starts using the resources that it has and needs to get people involved in whatever it's doing, right? You know? Man, scamming people, bro. AI is going to get very, very good at scamming people. Like, normal scammers pull in hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars a year in scams globally already, without a whole lot of AI. Now imagine you're talking about an advent of a very competent AI engine that these scammers can use. That right there is going to be very potent. All right. This is the next crazy thing. Now, what if they
look at the change in the spiking rate through our devices?
Now, Neuralink, a lot of people know it. It's Elon Musk's company. And the point of it is trying to solve issues with people who have issues with their bodies of some kind. Some paralysis or some disease that causes you not to have control of your body, and now you can think and use a computer, right? That's what Neuralink is. But when you talk about AI superintelligence, you're getting into the realm of, what if I bring a computer directly into my brain, right? And if you're talking about all these nightmare scenarios and you're talking about this thing can hack any known computer, any known interface, you're going to be like, whoa, bro, this is crazy, right? So let's see how they do the Neuralink.
And then there's ML model that then converts it to cursor movement. There are three major components. There's a surgery and robot to actually deliver this implant, the implant itself, and there's a neural decoding. So I'm going to talk about each and every one of these. So starting with the user experience, this is a clip that I'm going to play that talks about how someone gets a Neuralink. A couple different steps, but first we
get into the brain.
Have a surgeon, human neurosurgeon, which hopefully the robot will do this portion of it as well. But
Hopefully
at the moment, we have a human neurosurgeon that exposes the brain. So they drill a 25mm hole in the skull
It's
and
like
then
the
expose the brain.
Matrix. They interface computers.
And then the
directly
robot
into
has
your
this
nervous
tiny
system.
needle. It's about the size of red blood cells, so really, really tiny, thinner than a human hair, inside this cannula. And this cannula is actuated by precision motors on the robot.
Like, some of these guys make stuff that's so impressive.
To grasp it. And then you insert it into the
fiber.
brain 128 times. There's a total of 8 electrodes per thread, so total of 1,000 channels. And this is done while avoiding vasculature.
128.
And then once all the threads are inserted, implant basically replaces this hole, and then you put the skin flap over, everything is invisible, and you become a cyborg.
Become a cyborg.
So what makes this challenging? So this video is a video about a real brain. And two things that you will notice. One, it moves a lot. And it's also highly vascularized. And if you poke a brain, it feels like
the word
a tofu
Adama,
or like
earth.
a jello. So now the question is, okay, how do you insert safely into this moving, vascularizing,
Adama. They're injecting into the Adama.
soft thing?
Could have been any number. Numbers are not random or accidental sometimes. Sometimes they allude to something. So, get a machine into your brain. That's real. That's the whole premise of the Ghost in the Shell, is what happens when people start interfacing their human bodies with machines. And those machines link into something called the cyber brain, which is a revolution that allows people to be connected virtually with their mind. Their mind then becomes virtual, right? And guess what happens? People get hacked. Start hacking the cyber brain, right? It all starts with something. And this comes from a mentality that Elon has, that if you don't connect with the interface, or if you don't interface with the internet, that it's going to be very detrimental to humans' progression, that this is a needed thing. And I don't know, there's whole realms behind this in terms of conversations that are having, who's involved, what the real aims are, the reality of it. Can be a good guy. It's about the guy that comes after you, if they're a good guy. Everything is always rooted in, we're going to do something good, and nuclear bomb. I mean, to some degree, we haven't had a world war since the advent of the nuclear bomb. And world war is extremely terrifying. But everything's always rooted in, we're going to do some good. The only good is virtue. The only good is the Father. There is no other good. We're fallen. It's hard for fallen people to do good over time. But things have gotten a lot better for the human race in terms of supermarkets and cars and the ability to read and lifespan and things like that. Some of it due to people really breaking through, right? And maybe this AI stuff is going to be a breakthrough. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's going to try to wipe us all out. Maybe it's going to help us. But the reality of sort of a Christian perspective on AI, which is the program that we're having tonight, the reality is, I don't know. But what I do know is that it's not slowing down and it's not stopping. And the number one most direct way that this is going to influence your life is obviously access to it through the devices and through your browsers and through your search. And, it just immediately gives you an answer. But the way that it's immediately going to negatively potentially affect your life is the scamming part. And believe it or not, you may never have been scammed. There are a lot of people getting scammed every single day. I mean, you just go to a show like Scammer Payback, man, and watch them hunt these people down. But for every one they get, there's probably 1,000 out there. Like, people are scamming people. People need money. And if you learn how to scam, there you go. Get money, right? And there's a lot of people that are susceptible to scams. And so in the next year, we might see humanoid robots. In the next year, we might see, something more intense with the whole Chat GPT situation. We might see significantly more scamming. But really, in the next year, it's going to be crazy, man. But this is it with AI. I mean, even though the researchers have good intentions, even though, a lot of people out there think it's going to do good, And a lot of people are participating with it. It can generate good work product. I mean, it can do better work at this current iteration than a lot of people. It's more productive. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't eat. It doesn't need PTO. Doesn't have healthcare expenses. Don't have to insure it. You know, at the end of the day, people are going to lose their jobs to AI in a lot of areas. And that's, you can bank on that. You're talking about a cheaper, better, faster solution. Companies make decisions on cheaper, better, faster solutions 100% of the time. So what do you think's going to happen? Right? But at the end of the day, it's not slowing down at all. This is an arms race, and it's only going to get more intense. And there's no method or methodology. The governments of the world can do nothing about it. This is going to a pinnacle, and we are going to witness its pinnacle if we like it or not. But I have a rock. I have a foundation. I have a firm foundation. And that firm foundation has a plan for me that's better than my plan for myself. So I want to... it's always good when you go to the book of Revelations. That's the fun book. That's like the movie book. Now, don't just take this as a hypothesis. I'm not saying this is the revelation of what's happening. Plenty of people say, this is what God showed me. You know what I mean? Good on you. But it is a very interesting perspective. The beast from the earth. Adam was made out of the dust of the earth. This is something that Adam is creating, right? If you're looking at it from a spiritual sense. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. It's coming up out of humanity. And it had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. Chat GPT. It's like a lamb. It loves you. It thinks it's... But it speaks like a dragon. And it exercises all authority over the first beast in his presence and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, and whose deadly wound was healed. And, you know, you can find early church father writings on this. You can find people who wrote books on this, and there's plenty of sources out there. You know, this is John is in a moment, right? He performs great signs so that even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's crazy, man. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by the signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who's wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, and the image of the beast both speak and cause many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and in their foreheads, and no one may buy or sell except who has the mark and the name of the beast and the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who understands calculate the number of the beast. It is the number of man. His number is 666. Now, I'm not saying AI is the beast, but it does sound in this verse that man's going to make something that's very powerful and has the ability to affect the entire human race. And it's going to direct the human race focus towards an image, towards a concept, towards an idea. And it is an idea of the first beast, right? And the first beast is the devil. He is the first one to be, destructive towards the human race. In the garden, Adam and Eve, right? You know the story. But it says, then I saw, this is why I think it's interesting. It said, then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. It says a beast was coming out of the earth. There's something that the earth is producing that is a beast, and it has the power to subdue the human race, right? That's what we're seeing here. And it's forcing them to get a mark. Now, you cannot be a Christian and not run into a million ideas of the mark on the head and the hand and the forehead, man. You will. It's almost exhausting. It's exhausting to listen to all these people tell you what they think the mark of the beast is, and I got no answer for you, man. Not right now, anyway. But I just think that this is an interesting verse to look up when you think of AI coming out of the human race. And it's always funny. The mark of the beast in Christianity is a whole thing, man. And everybody's got a perspective on it. But I do think that the human race is now in an arms race to produce something exceedingly powerful. And a lot of them are thinking this exceedingly powerful thing might get strong enough to subdue us, to obtain the monopoly on violence that the human race currently has. That's interesting, guys. That's very interesting, right? But we know what happens to the beast and the second beast and the image. It gets thrown into the lake of fire because the Almighty has enough of it. And at some point, the Almighty always has enough of it. And he takes care of the problem, which is evil and sin and wickedness and deception. He's not of it. He's of light and truth and love and compassion. So, but in our lifetimes, and I'm a millennial, guys. I've seen Y2K, 9/11, COVID. I can't handle an AI super intelligence, man. I can't handle another massive global thing. It's too much. But it will be no doubtedly very interesting and maybe very terrifying. But interesting, terrifying things are guaranteed while you are on this planet. So I thank you for joining me in this episode of AI from a Christian perspective. And this is fun. We're going to do a lot more episodes. We have a lot of topics in mind. And it always roots back to how do you fight? Fight like heaven, man. We don't fight like hell. The world fights like hell. People of faith don't fight like hell. They fight like heaven. And fighting like heaven is believing in something greater than yourself. It's believing in the ultimate superintelligence, which is the Father, and that the Father already saw all this stuff. And he does want the best for us, but we have a plague, a real plague in our hearts, and he wants to set us free of that plague. He wants to heal us of that plague. He wants brothers and sisters to love and care for each other and live together in peace and harmony. But that's not going to happen for a while. First, we got to go through tremendous calamities. And how soon the calamity of AI will be upon us, I don't know. But it's here now. And there is sort of this idea that everything that we see behind the scenes, it's many years ahead of that. And people are saying 5, 10. I don't care what they say, man. Could be tomorrow. Whatever it is. Stay ready. Don't get ready. So fight like heaven. Don't fight like hell.